Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today we are going to be going over the new Gems of War Mythic of Huanglong, and doing a key opening, going over first impressions, and just showing some teams with it. But anyways, as per usual, it's the first Friday of every month, so it's in the Glory Gem Guild and VIP chests for this entire week, all the way until next Friday reset, so basically the end of Thursday. As far as this Mythic, it's definitely not a must-have. However, it does have a little bit of utility purposes. It's a little bit of a weird mix as far as what it can do. It's very luck-based as far as its ability. The first really most noteworthy thing is it actually comes with a new trait that might come onto some legends or some other stuff, in that it has a 70% scar reduction. Currently, a rare has 65% reduction, so we'll see exactly how low of a rarity we'll end up getting this. But similar to the other one, it came out initially on a really high rarity troop, and in this case it did as well, with the 70% being on a mythic, but it might come to cheaper stuff eventually, because this is not its unique trait. Its unique trait is just it gives a bunch of magic to dragon allies. Dragons do not currently have a 50% mana start, however they will be getting a 50% mana start relatively soon. So by that point, this troop might become a little bit more viable, but as far as it currently stands, it's mostly used with divines, since it counts as both a divine and a dragon. Also, as far as yellow, blue, and purple goes, it's pretty much the best yellow, blue, purple. Vespera, Shabana Vespera is technically a bit better than this. But as far as like a damage source kind of option or tankiness option, it's definitely a nice addition to the color, since Vespera was pretty much the only thing that was underneath the color before, and there are a lot of teams that you can't use Vespera in. But anyways, as far as its ability, it deals damage to all enemies, and then it has a bunch of RNG. Then there's a individual 50% chance that I'll either gain a bunch of attack, gain an extra turn, and gain barrier, as well as enchanting or blessing. So this thing will have like 1.5 billion things that it could potentially end up doing, which will mean it'll either do really good or will end up doing really bad. The main noteworthy thing is it doesn't have anything that actually ends up touching the board. It does have some amount of mana accumulation back, in the sense that extra turn could theoretically help with mana accumulation, as well as of course enchant landing would also help with assisting with that. It's also one of a few troops that has a really high score reduction that actually has an okay way of gaining attack. Very few things do this, but it is one of them that has both a really high score reduction while also having a way on itself rather than needing another troop to increase that attack, which of course is a pretty good combination, since it's mostly going to be used in first slot as a frontline tank, though it may occasionally be used in second slot depending on the team composition, if you're using it more so for its ability and for its final trait, and to ramp it up for when it is the first slot, as your first slot dies and then it becomes your new first slot, which is already buffed up at, and will pretty much just auto win from there. Overall, it's going to have a lot of Stonehammer problems. Pretty much every issue Stonehammer has, this troop is essentially going to have, which unfortunately is going to make it very situational when it ends up getting used. But let's go do a key opening for it, see what it can actually do, and go from there. If nothing else, unlike most tanks, it does have a decent amount of damage, though then again, Glaceon has a pretty decent amount of damage as well, with 65% reduction. It also has a little bit of a attack gain, but not as much as this thing could potentially do, though it is more consistent than what this attack gain will be. And also, of course, those numbers will be a little bit higher, not just because of the magic gain, but also because we haven't upgraded them yet, which we will as soon as we can actually find them somewheres in all these gem keys. Probably gonna burn through all these gem keys and still have to go to Glory or something. But hopefully we'll get it soon. Also, one other pretty noteworthy thing to mention about the drop table right now is Spring Imp. Spring Imp came back into the drop table as of yesterday. Is available for the months of April and May. So if you still need that, make sure to go and try for the Mythic, either this Mythic or next Mythic. Also, Tesla's going to be insane for the faction today, by the way. We'll be going over that on stream soon. And there it is, Huanglong. So let's go get this guy upgraded and see what we can do. We already have a couple teams, and also all the teams will be in the description below, of course. Let's see, where is our little guy? Okay, let's go put them in. Go put him into all the teams, just using a Skady for placeholders, since I know we would never actually use one naturally. Well, I guess you would still use her if you wanted Blue Storm, but she is really bad in the current state of the game, especially now that Queen Mab has kind of completely fallen off. When Queen Mab was kind of meta when it came out, it wasn't as bad. But now she's definitely not the greatest. But anyways, oh, also I just accidentally leveled them both manually. It is technically better value to go use orbs, but oh well, not too big a deal. We have like infinite trait stones, so we're not really saving much there, and the soul cost is pretty trivial, since I think it's like what, 5, 6, 7,000, which is still pretty small. But we could use a green orb on it. Best value obviously doing it for the mythics there. But anyways, let's go and start getting into these teams. Gotta go grab that tribute though first. of course, and then it tries selling us something. Actually, they have power orbs going on for Easter right now, too. We actually got one last week. But anyways, let's go and from a random drop, the 1% major drop thing. Oh gosh, we got a really annoying Beatrix team here. Anyways, let's start from the top. So, probably one of the strongest teams that I could possibly use for right now is a frontline tank for a Divine Ishbala Quillen team. Unfortunately, Quillen, even though it seems like it should be a dragon, does not actually count as a dragon. It's a Divine Beast. However, of course, we're using it for the Divine Ishbala Quillen combo is the main reasoning there. Also, if you do not have a Divine Protector, it is one of those weird event weapons that only comes out during Whitehelm. So if you didn't pick this up in the past, you can use a Bronzelock Pistol instead. Actually, in this particular instance, Bronzelock Pistol would be better because that would be full mana for Bronzelock Pistol if we had it. But obviously, we have no way of knowing what our starting board would be. So right here, we're actually going to want to go for green just because this is going to be our main way of getting our initial mana accumulation going here. Otherwise, we're just going to want to take any kind of mana that can kind of feed into our mana pools. Gosh, I wish we were using Bronzelock. Of course, when we're not using the color, we'll get like 1.5 billion of it on the board. Very unfortunate. We'll take that over for now. Looks like we might even be able to cast the Mythic before we even get anything else going. That's going to be kind of funny. It does have, you can already see the whole mana blocking kind of issue that this thing is going to have, in that the sense that you're almost always going to be using it in first slot, but in the fact that you're using it in first slot is going to make it so you're blocking all of your mana accumulations if you don't end up doing it with a Empower or some other similar option to kind of get it rolling. But as you can see here, we're going to get a bunch of random effects. We get the full AoE, we get the attacking, we get the enchant, a bunch of different random things. Pretty much just rolls each of them individually from what I can tell, because we didn't gain... Oh, wait, did we gain an extra turn? Oh, I might have gained an extra turn. I think it might be bulk together. No, because we didn't gain barrier. So it does seem to be literally individual for each of these. Though I believe enchant is either or. It'll either enchant or it'll bless. But all these other ones seem to be a 50% chance each, so they'll gain either attack or the extra turn or the barrier. Because we gained attack there, we gained the extra turn, but not the barrier. Interesting. Anyways, we got Divine Protector going up, which should allow this team to actually start now. So now that we got Divine Protector, we pretty much just auto-win, so that's nice. Just double-checking to see if we have any other alignment, otherwise we'll go to that. Obviously, we already gained our attack, so now he'll hit for a lot of damage, and that's ideally the combo we're going for, of course, is getting him to be very tanky and just kind of assist with this team and just kind of auto-win from there. Do we have alignment here? No. Do we want to RNG the extra turn? Would that even help us, because he doesn't actually touch the board? Divine Ishbala does not do anything relevant. So I'm just going to take a skull here, it looks like. Then we probably go for Divine Protector and hope it works out. And it works out. And we can go finish it here. However, let's go do it with the dragon. Oh, wait, never mind. The spell reduction ended up getting it. But there we got the Bless. We got the Barrier. We got the... did we get another attacking? It looks like we got another attacking. His attack looks really high now. But yeah, we go for that. Boom, dead. And this is probably the most effective team that currently uses it. And second slot, if you don't have Divine Protector, of course, is Bronzelock Pistol, which actually would have been better that time around. But Divine Protector, if you have it's better once you get it going. It just took forever to get it rolling because the board kept giving us browns, which this team does not use. You could even set it to a minus brown banner. However, I didn't want to exactly set that one because the banner that's actually really good is one of those annoying war coin banners. It's the +2 green, +1 yellow, -1 brown. But quite a few people don't have this because of RNG on war coins due to how they're distributed. But that banner's perfectly fine, but you can also do it with the other one. But anyways, let's go into the next team, and then we'll go into the cheap team. So here's a dragon team. Do keep in mind, the dragon team is going to be not necessarily like super weak, but at least weaker than it could potentially be, in the sense that we don't currently have 50% mana start for dragons. This will be something that will exist, at which point this mythic might become quite a bit more viable and might actually be useful. But dragon teams for it right now are definitely quite a bit weaker than they could potentially be. But that will be fixed in the upcoming months. So here we're basically running a Dragon Soul as our main mana accumulation, at least to get things rolling. And it's basically going to full board clear. It gains even more magic as we take extra turns too. So essentially every cast will be board clearing. We also did something very similar to Divine Protector where we end up using Dragon's Claw. Once again, if you want to, you can use Bronzelock Pistol. It ends up synergizing pretty good for the replacement for this, especially since you can use it as a frontline tank when you're using Dragon Guard, because Bronzelock Pistol gives burn. And then in synergize with this, you end up getting triple damage to the burn, assuming it's in first slot. So you can end up getting synergy that way. But basically, with this team, we're just tanking up. We have Divinia for something I haven't used much lately, but it is still a pretty decent troop, mostly because Beatrix is better than in most situations. However, when you're building a dragon team, it is actually better than a Beatrix most of the time. But ends up exploding a bunch. It gains cleanse all allies and a little bit of life, which obviously is pretty good for this thing's tankability. Also, apparently gave it a random enrage because it gives a random status effect to an ally every single time it casts. So basically, we just keep chipping at it over and over again, and that's essentially the whole premise of this. We end up getting the extra turn there. Looks like we got the enchant. Looks like we got the barrier. So we'll go explode a bunch and just kind of keep repeating this. Kind of a very similar kind of premise to the previous one, more so just built into Dragon. And as you can see, it pretty much never dies. It seems to be really good at not dying, which is kind of to be expected, given that it has 100 different ways to not die. It doesn't have an HP gain, though, but you can obviously make up for that with other troops, like we did with Divinia here, and the next one makes up for it with Dragatar, as well as Emperina. However, on this next team, do keep in mind, if you have Shegra, it is actually better to do it with Shegra. I might even show it both ways here, but I showed it with Emperina just because this is the absolute cheapest you could possibly build this team. It is Bronze Lock Pistol, which you get literally for free just from leveling up your hero class. I believe you have it by around level 100, 200 or so. You get it by going into brown and blue masteries. I forget the exact numbers. But Huanglong, obviously, is the mythic. Obviously, that's hard to get, but this is a Huanglong team, so obviously he has to be used. Dragatar is just a rare, so you should have it laying around. Destroys a column, gives a bunch of benefits to dragons, and since this entire team is dragons, ends up working out pretty well. Our hero class is set to Dragon Guard, which has this similar synergy I was just mentioning before, though it does require you getting it to max, but it does get triple damage to burning, and this thing gets to burn first enemy on its ability, so ends up getting that pretty nice synergy there. It also ends up gaining gold, which allows you to gain gold for the accumulation for the amount of destroys that it does, since we're not really doing that with anything else on the team, unless we had a Shegra here. And Emperina's here just because it's a free kingdom epic. You get it from completing out the Kazil kingdom, and it basically allows this mythic or your first slot to become even tankier. Obviously, this is a second slot Huanglong team. You can end up switching it out for a first slot, though I feel like it would have a little bit of a mana accumulation problem. But we'll go show this twice, I guess, this team. We'll show it once with the Emperina, which is the cheapest possible way you could build it, and then we'll show it with the Shegra, which unfortunately requires you to have a Shegra. But, oh, we might actually die here. This is a cheaper team, so that is somewhat to be expected. But, we might die here. Mostly because that Empower is going to go just crazy, and we can't really stop it. Okay, luckily the bunny is kind of here to assist us. The little Easter bunny. He's been around all week. Obviously, we have the Easter skulls as well. Do I just take a brown here? We need to get Bronze Lock Pistol rolling. The problem is the very first cast of Bronze Lock Pistol, due to the fact that we don't really have a gold accumulation method on this team, is going to be a little bit bad. But we kind of need to do something, so we'll get it down. Oh yeah, we're frozen on purple, aren't we? Now we're not. That's not going to help us now. So that ends up gaining... Oh, he has immune to burn, too. How wonderful. Oh, no. And we're re-entangled. Yeah, I think this is just a loss. Let's go show the Shegra version. This is going to be too slow for endgame, I think. Let's see. We'll go get the Shegra out. That's not how you spell Shegra. That's also not how you spell Shegra. It's 2 G's, I think. There we go. Haven't used it for a while. Shegra's a legend, so it's not as bad as far as costs, but Emperina would definitely be the cheaper route. So, right here, we'll go and take a... What do we even want here? I almost want to go straight into Shegra. We should probably also get Pistol going, because we need to start getting our mana accumulation. I think it might just infinite us here. I might just have to do a weaker battle to show the weaker team. Let's see. Oh, I know, that had mana drain attached to it, too. Let's see. We're diseased on the thing that's about to gain green, too, which means it's... Oh, no, good. It's still gain full mana off of search. Nice. We'll do that. Take our extra turns, because it does still gain the 3 magic per extra turn, which, of course, helps absolutely everything. We end up gaining more damage for our weapon, more damage for everything, more attack and armor when we cast, and actually Shegra doesn't gain anything, but Emperina would have, if we were still using Emperina there. I'll go for this, get a little bit of stats for everything. Let's see... Got our yellow-purple. Might as well do that to start getting this thing rolling. So the whole premise of a second slot version of this is basically that we'd use it behind our troop in order to assist us. So essentially we go and cast this out, if it'll let us. And basically by the time our first slot hero ends up dying, we can end up using it as a support option, is essentially what we're going for here. Hopefully he does not infinite us. And unfortunately, we did get silenced on the thing we actually want to cast. Luckily the bunny is ruining his loop a little bit, but he just agiled us. That's not good. Also, it looks like it doesn't matter if we have Shegra or Emperina. It's just going to die because the game doesn't want us to cast it. It just does not want to let us get it down. And we can't even finish him because of the stealthy. And he is immune to... oh, no, never mind. That was the other one that had immune. But we'll take that. This better not agile it again. There we go. Finally. Okay. So now we should be able to start winning. So we'll take that over. Try for Skull for Sky. Didn't get it. He gave it to us. That's fine. We'll take that out. We pretty much win here. As long as his silence would stop being annoying and silencing the thing we want to actually cast. It just does not want it to go. There we go. Get our AoE. Get that down. It did not actually get anything. Oh, no. Good. It didn't gain barrier there. So it will still keep getting the little bit of durability. Because it doesn't have an HP gain on it. So you can kind of use an Emperorina to bring it back up. Or a Divinia, ideally, to have cleanse and to bring it back up. But you can end up also getting it off itself, but it doesn't have a actual heal method. It has a lot of ways to not die, but one of those is not healing nor gaining HP. So do be wary of that. We'll probably just go for this and try for Sky Skull. And there we go. Dead. Easy. There we go. That was Marso Dragatar doing most of the work there because of the buff into Hero. Felt like he was probably the MVP. We had almost like 200 attack from that by the end of it. And of course the Dragatar attack buff will also stack into the Mythic's attack buff. Though I don't think it actually got an attack buff in that particular instance. It was all just off of the Dragatar. But anyways, that is the new Mythic. As far as getting it, I do feel like this one's pretty skippable. It's not like a utility troop that you would need to have, like an Obsidius or something like that. It's very rarely going to be used. It has a lot of a Stonehammer problem. I do feel like it's better than Stonehammer, though, especially once we get a 50% Dragon start. So as far as where it would be placed, I feel like it's about C tier or so. It's definitely not a must-have, but I don't know. It's still okay to go for, especially if you still want to get a guarantee mythic that you don't already have. It's associated to Shentang, so if you need a mythic there as well, you can end up doing it, because the other Shentang mythic's that one weird stunner that's not that good either. So as far as Shentang mythics are concerned, this could arguably be better than the other Shentang mythic, even after its buff, or the other troop's buff. So it's worth potentially getting in that regard, in that if you don't have a Shentang mythic, you might want to make this your Shentang mythic. It's going to be used in some teams for like Divine Shbala Quillen potentially, if you want to use that as your tank. It's going to be used when Dragon 50% mana start comes into the game. I can't remember off the top of my head when that is, but I believe it is this year, so in the next couple months. So do look out for that. But overall, probably worth skipping. But if you want to get it with Spring Imp or something else, could be okay value. But anyways, that's the Mythic. We'll probably mess with it a little bit more this weekend, but since it's not like ultra viable, we probably won't be doing it too much. However, one thing that we will be doing a lot, of course, is the new faction that ended up coming out today. We'll be streaming that at noon Eastern Standard Time today, which should be soon after this video goes up, hopefully. And I'll also be streaming it every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Most notably, Saturday we'll be doing the... tomorrow we'll be doing the Pure faction for the new faction and going over all that. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. All the teams mentioned in this video will be in the description, and I will catch you guys later. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful Easter. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.